CEO Live Talks.
I am Dr. Swanee Jett, and I have a passion for public health for over 30 years. Now, I'm in a position to affect change, and these are the critical conversations about health in our community with the people who can help me make those changes. Good morning. Welcome to CEO Live Talks. I'm your host, Dr. Swanee Jett. Welcome to episode 2 with Mr. Fleming. So now you grew up in your household. How did your brother go into prison? Because I'm sure that had a profound effect on your mother.
Sure.
How did that have an effect, on you?
So full circle, my brother was my hero, even at a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
Even him going to penitentiary, it never really hit home to me that he was in penitentiary. It felt like he was away on vacation. He called often. And he also would say, you have no excuses on why you can't be successful. Because for you have seen firsthand what failure looks like. So if you ever come through these doors, I'm going to treat you like a failure and not my brother.
That's interesting.
He said it for years. Now, full circle, my brother did his 17 years. He came home the year I was teaching at Shawnee, the year that situation happened with that young gentleman. And my brother kind of walked me through that. He was like, man, that's not on you. He was the sound mind during that whole process.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, that's not on you. You can't wear that. You can't carry that. And my brother just crazy. November the 5th of 2023, I was inducted into the Louisville Male High School Hall of Fame.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank
I
you.
did know that.
November the 5th, 2023, my brother didn't wake up. That was his last day on earth. So one of the best days of my life at 12 o'clock was one of the worst days by 8 p.m. But my brother's passing in my mind was not in vain. God gave him to us as long as he needed to be here to get whatever message through that he needed to use. You never see a tree eat its own fruit. So even his 17 years in penitentiary wasn't about him. Him coming home wasn't about him. God was just using him to relay a message to the people that he needed to get the message to. So it impacted me because I never had an excuse. My brother didn't believe in excuses. When I went to TSU, I became a dad. And he called me. I was like, you got to go home. It's time's up. I'm like, man, I got a couple more years to play. He said, nah, you done. And no more football. You a whole daddy now. It wasn't. And then my mom called like, did you talk to your brother? I'm like, well, yeah, he called me. He's like, what'd he say? And the fact that my mama asked, which means she already knew she already knew. It's time's up. He told me, man, you need if finish school, but you need to transfer to Louisville because you can't be a daddy 187 miles away from your child.
True.
So my last semester at TSU was 2009, transferred to U of L and finished my undergrad. So even though my brother was sitting in a penitentiary cell, he was my voice of reason.
Left side. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it wasn't always right, but it always made sense.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. How old was your brother when he died?
43.
43 years
43
old.
years old. Born in 1980. October 2nd, 1980. He died 1 month after his 43rd birthday.
Wow.
And even right now, Dr. Jett, it don't even feel like he's back in penitentiary. It feel like he's just back where he's been.
Right.
And now I feel like all God did was pull him from this side and put him on this side.
Right. Right.
So he was reason, now he's right.
Right. So now you still can hear him.
Still, to this day, Dr. Jett, just like I'm sitting here talking to you.
You know, that's funny because I tell my kids, if they start to think and then they find themselves in a situation, think what I would do. Right? Because even in some of the most crazy situations I've been in my life, I was always the person that was thinking, reasoning, coming up with something logical. But we got a similar brother situation. One of the most beautiful days of my life, I graduated with my doctorate at the University of Kentucky. My brother passed away at 38. So by the time the family got back to Chicago, everybody was here. It was Derby weekend, 2009. By the time they got back, yeah, he was passed away at the age of 38. So it was kind of interesting, that dynamic. And then my father passed away about 2 months before I graduated with my bachelor's from TSU. So, but I still hear, I still have, reflection on what I should be doing. But because I'm the only male living, so I can't go for my mom.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
'Cause,
yeah, yeah.
I do not want to see that pain since I'm the last remaining male. But I did have a sister. She's younger, so I understand that dynamic. And it was a blessing, but it shows your maturity that you understand the impact he had and how he had influence in your life. And what about your father?
Father, good dude, solid guy.
Because a lot of people, they don't really invoke their fathers in conversations.
So, my father, man, I feel like sometimes presence is enough.
Right.
My father he has 4 kids. I'm the third of 4. My sister and I have the same mom and same dad.
Okay.
I feel like, Dr. Jet, my father did the best he could with what he had.
Okay.
He started in the streets, but he always had a job.
Okay.
And as he got older, my dad was a motorcycle rider. He rode in a gang in the city of Louisville called Who You With. He was the president of them.
I probably know your dad.
Yeah, man, he was a barber by trade.
You know why I probably know him, right?
You rode bikes.
Well, I was one of the founders for True Riders.
Oh, you definitely know my dad.
And I started Night Stalker.
You definitely know my dad. My dad, he definitely know my dad.
Hey, that's why I say you never know.
You definitely know my dad. So he was a very he was, in my mind, one of the best people ever as a young kid growing up, you know.
Because it was always fun.
And my dad had the old school.
Yep.
He had the music. He had the golds. He had all, he put up to Little League football games, California Park, man. You heard the music.
Right.
And my daddy, he ain't bumping no rap. He might have some Kenny G playing. He might have a jazz band. I mean, loud. I mean, 215s. So that was my dad. As I got older, when I became a father, me and my dad kind of had a difference in views, because once I understood what to be a father, I was like, man, how did you handle these things when we was kids? He's like, man, I didn't. Your mother did.
Right.
And what I appreciate most about my father is the things he didn't do well, I make a priority to do great.
Right.
So I learned from the areas in which he didn't exceed, didn't excel. And as a father, man, I make sure that I don't have those gaps in my parenting.
Right.
To this day, man, my dad, he's still living. He's a diabetic, man, so diabetes is getting the best of him. But, what he is doing, he appreciates life. He goes to Portland Memorial Baptist Church, so he doesn't miss a Sunday, so he's definitely in his word now. Again, like I said, when God wants your attention, he gonna get it. So God set him down, man, slowed him down. He's been a very instrumental guy. My mom was just a force, man, and my dad knew his lane when it came to my mom. She's not to be crossed.
Well, and everybody has gaps in parenting. Trust me, I've definitely seen in raising kids myself. I have gotten better with patience the older I've gotten, because I have 7 kids. So I've had to have a lot of patience. But my parenting, the older I got, the more mature I became, changed. And I probably was raising boys, I probably was harder on boys than raising my girls, because my girls seemed to get the education piece and worked harder younger. My boys took a little bit more time. And so I always kept my paws on them. And raising kids, I raised, my boys pretty much solo, so I had to be a different type of dad. And so I was hard on them. But, once they turn, I tell them, once you turn 18, I'm your dad, but I'm your advisor.
That part.
So our relationship changes, because I've given you the knowledge. Now I want you to have the ability to make decisions outside of me as if I'm not here. You can advise me, but the decisions you make now are going to impact the rest of your life. I have to have the fortitude to be able to step back and not be somebody that micromanages. I need to go back as the leader. And that's the same in running organizations. So, you've had an opportunity to lead an organization. Some of my best lessons in life is watching how other people lead, right?
That's the military
what to
in
do
you. That's
and
the
what
army
not
in
to
you.
do.
Yeah, that's the army in you. That's the
So
military.
tell me, what lessons have you
Man,
learned? Because you have a lot now.
Kind of same. I'm kind of same. I'm kind of like you. I'm very observative. And I think one of my greatest attributes is I don't mind asking questions. I'm not shy. I'm a very good people person. So I love going in rooms and learning. I love being the bottom of the totem pole in the room, because that means there's a lot for me to learn in that room. There's been people, Daryl Unseld, Dave Christopher, Trent Finley. There's these guys, man, who's just been running, heads down, making some of the greatest impact as black men in the city of Louisville. And I've been fortunate enough to be in the presence of these guys, and also be able to be at the table with these guys. And they respect me as like a little brother to say, man, you're doing the work and you're doing it right. So I'm like you, man, to be able to sit on the couch with Dr. Jet. This is a blessing. A lot of people don't get these opportunities, and I've seen how you run. I heard about your fundraiser, man. I was taking notes. Man, I for real, man. I was in the trenches, man, really just kind of watching. And when you have people like you, in the conversations amongst my circle, my friends, we call people like you trailblazers. Y'all the people who's out in the woods, man, with the knife, cutting down trees and creating a pathway.
Right.
So we would be dummies not to walk a path that you created.
Right.
And not only are you all creating these pathways and cutting down trees and kicking down barriers, you leave a little breadcrumb to remind you, man, okay, yeah, he's been here. I'm doing this right. I'm on the right path. And then the blessing is when you go a little left, you got somebody to say, hey,
pull you back.
Come on.
Pull you back.
And people who say, hey, man, that's a good job. And the same people say, hey, bro, you need to get it together. You need to tighten up.
Right.
I think I've been blessed with enough Dr. Jets in my life to say, you need to tighten up.
Yeah. And that's the blessing, of course, all those people you named, they good friends. And I owe Mr. Christopher a call, so don't kill me. I owe him a call. In this day, and I'm sure you could speak to this, in Louisville, we've been having a large women's movement, it particularly black women. And, unfortunately, I see a lot of us, we're less likely to be in the top seat as African American men. We're less likely to be in the boardroom now. We are at the bottom end of receiving a degree. African American women are getting that. And we're receiving a lot of accolades in Louisville. How do you see yourself navigating now that dynamic is changing? Because it impacts fundraising, it impacts your organization, and it's always been in America that African American men have been the greatest threat.
It's true. Go right back to slavery. So, in that space, man, I've been able to have conversations with people like Butch Mosby, who is now on the board of Community Foundation of Louisville, who is now from a infrastructure standpoint at the table to be able to break down barriers. To see Lyndon Pryor be a successor of Sadiq at the Urban League, and have conversations like with him that are very transparent. Those individuals are a lifeline, for the lack of better terms. And then, man, to see these black women who are in these spaces, Adria Johnson, Sadiqa, Kish Kumi, watching these, these black women move, I observe them the same way.
Right.
I learn from them. I watch them. Dr. Curl Jones Clay, Republic Bank. I mean, these people who are beacons in the community, man. I go sit down, and lunch is on me. Miss Ryan over at Black Coffee, lunch is on me.
I used to work with her.
Yep. So I sit down with these people, man, and have some of the best conversations about where's the landmines.
Man.
Where is the landmines? And that's my first whistle. Where should I be stepping and where should I not?
Right.
And they'll tell me, Damarrion, you actually on a road all by yourself. And there's nowhere you really can't go. It ain't where you go, it's how you go. Remember Burnett Avenue, man, Pastor Corey Scholl is like one of my best friends. Somebody that I believe, trust. When I was at Tennessee State University, he was at Fisk University.
Okay.
He's a Fisk graduate. He and I will have these very intimate conversations, and it'll be like Damarrion and Corey, not pastor and CEO.
Right.
And he'll tell me, man, you need to move as if you know that God has already went before you. Move with authority, move with intentionality, move with purpose, and move with passion. But also, when you move, learn. Learn from where you come from, and then learn in the space in which you go. So as a CEO, as an executive director, as a founder, Dr. Jet, it is a space that is unfamiliar, but I'm excited about exploring. And as you know, it's been in the roles you've been in throughout your illustrious career, no day has looked the same.
Right.
You only get one opportunity to make a first impression. And follow-up is the number one key to success.
You know, the interesting thing about life, and I've been pretty progressive in my career, and I've taken a lot of risk. But I learned something along the way that I can bestow upon you. I'm sitting in Iraq, and I'm singing a song by 50 Cent. I'm singing Many Men Wish Death Upon Me. Because I'm in combat arms. 365 days, me and my unit, we was in over 160 some incidents. I saw my life flash a couple of times there, which would have been 9 in my lifetime. I took 4 classes, still in doctoral school. I'm working 18-hour days. Took 4 classes that fall. And I never let a day pass that I put off something till tomorrow that I could do today. And so when my feet touched the ground, which I never thought I'd kiss the ground in the U.S., but when my feet touched the ground, I hit the ground running. And that was 2007 and never looked back. And every success I've had in my life, I don't care. That was yesterday. I'm great about the next play.
Come on.
Right? And so I would give you that nugget. So I got a couple more questions for you. And this is going to be intriguing. I remember when I first went to Florida and I became the first black health commissioner, and it was after Trayvon Martin and Sanford. And most of society, when they see an African-American man wearing a hoodie or wearing jeans or wearing a hat, they always think they in gangs or they think they selling drugs or whatever the case is. You know, but you're fairly comfortable wearing your hat, Rudiments I-5, wearing your, you know. So how did you feel comfortable? What do you think? How do people approach you when they see that, and then when they talk to you, they be like, huh?
I feel like I've always been a individual who sought out comfort, but not complacency.
Right.
So I feel like if I create my own path, I can wear what I want.
Right.
But my mom said, what you show up in is not what matters. It's how you show up.
Right.
So if you can articulate from your heart, they'll forget what you got on.
Right.
So, and I've come from a time era, man, where this was not a profile. This was a lifestyle.
Right.
You know what I mean? It wasn't a profile. You
Right.
comfortable, you good.
Right.
And I teach my kids that you can create your own path, or you can follow the path that somebody created for you. Either way, you determine the level of success.
Right.
Now, also in the world, be cognizant, exercise wisdom, know when and when not. It's code switching.
Right.
Where can I wear a hoodie and where do I need to wear a tie?
Right.
Understand that as you grow into this world, like you, 2007, everything you did has been a step up. That is a gift. That's a blessing. That's the expectation. Right. I know some of our kids won't ever be able to do what Dr. Jet did. Some of their movement is going to be up and across, right? It ain't going to be a stir. It's going to be a bridge. You're going to have to walk across and then climb. And I'm telling my kids, man, if you are able to understand your value, nobody can ever determine your worth.
Right.
So my level of comfort, man, the things that I wear, man, and I really try to do is everything that I have, I try to support. This is a local brand, a guy who started it, Z Nice, Jamal Zellner, one of my greatest DJs. Everything I try to do is a representation of who I am, where I come from, and where I'm going. Omega Psi Phi's in me. Die hard, still a fan, grew up, you know what I mean? So, and I tell kids, and that's probably only the second time I've wore these because it's not the level, it's not what I can do every day.
Right.
But I'm coming up here with Dr. Jet.
You
Come
mixed
on, man.
it with the purple gold.
Yeah, you already know. Red is you dead. So I already understood the level of magnitude. But when you have an opportunity to be on a platform of this magnitude,
Right.
you give kudos to those who've made a way for you. Omega Psi Phi has definitely done that.
Right.
My local friends have definitely done that. Brandon has definitely done that. And then people like you have definitely done that.
So I laugh when I say that because most of the time, and people should know this, on Code Switch, I'm authentic, unapologetically me. So whatever I feel that day, if I feel like put on the fur coat, that's what I'm going to wear.
Come on.
If I feel like putting on earrings, that's what I'm going to wear. If I feel like, having jeans, polo, whatever I feel like. Now, I've had people to walk up to me and not know who I am. Or I've had people walk up to me and they have a conversation and somebody said, "Did you not know who he is?" And they'd be like, "No, we didn't we didn't recognize him," right? And so I do that very intentional because you should be able to accept me regardless of what I wear.
Got on, man.
Or
You
what
right.
I got on.
You
It's
right.
about the intellect,
You right.
not anything else. I started wearing a bow tie consistently in 2020, and I said I would stop wearing it when COVID was over. Now, I will stop wearing it when people no longer think that I'm with the Nation of Islam. Because, see, wearing a bow tie goes back to our scholarly days, and people have forgotten that way. So I wear a bow tie to show, hey, I'm speaking in front of Harvard today, or I'm speaking at Tufts. This is what you should look like.
Come on.
This is the standard, right?
Come on.
So tell me, what does the future for you look like and for your organization?
So the goal is we're going to build this facility. I believe it.
How much money you need?
Huh?
How much money do you need?
$40 million.
Okay.
So I'm going to exceed my wildest. Initially, it was like $11 million, and somebody said, "Man, you're not dreaming big enough.
You gotta dream bigger.
Dream bigger."
Okay.
Whether you heard to see it come to fruition or not, you sowed the seed, and your son might finish it.
It'll happen.
You know what I mean? So we're going to build a $40 million facility that allows parents to sleep better at night. They can reduce gun violence. A space 24 hours, 7 days a week where a kid can say, "Man, I'm tired. The streets have gotten the best of me. I've had enough." Where a parent can come and say, "I've done all I can for him, Mr. Fleming. I'm out." Okay, come on.
Okay.
We got something for him. We got a space for him. A space where kids can call home at 10 years old. Man, the Empowerment Center is my home. A space where they feel safe, they fed, they spiritually feel, they academically held accountable. And if you sports is your thing, show me. And you heard kids in California, Texas, and Florida, they're at the gym before school.
So we need a whole campaign marketing with logos,
Yeah, we're gonna do it all,
hoodies,
Dr. Jet.
shoes.
We're gonna do it all.
And everybody wear it like they're part of
We're
the
gonna
team.
change the game. It's gonna be our organization preaches a village concept.
Right.
It takes a village. The whole village is gonna benefit from this one facility. And this is just the first. There'll be one of these in every state across the United States.
That'd be huge.
Once you show them that it works, they believe in you.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm saying, I listened to Miles Monroe. He said, man, they're not gonna clap while you building it.
Right.
They ain't gonna clap while you failing. They ain't gonna clap while you struggling. They're not gonna give you a standing ovation until they know that it works.
Yep.
So, like you, as a visionary, it's hard for us because we can see what people can't hear.
And I done got knocked down quite a few
You
times.
see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? And then sometimes you gotta pick yourself up. You ain't got nobody saying her, bro.
Yep.
Today, you know what you did for me today? Today you said her.
Yeah.
Because it's been a rough couple of months. You said her, come on, man, get up.
Yeah.
You extended a hand today, man, with an opportunity like this and a platform like this, man, and it's life changing. All my fraternity brothers, all my whole line is sitting here right now, like, man, I'm saying I'm going to meet with Dr. Jet. They're like, what? He invited, man. I'm going with Dr. Jet.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming to the
man.
show.
I appreciate the opportunity, man.
But this concludes our show, second episode of CEO Live Talks. Stay tuned for the next show next week, and thank you.